Lesson 10. Leaf Stitch. The leaf stitch is a variation of the satin stitch, used specifically to create the shape and texture of leaves in embroidery. It's a beautiful and versatile embroidery technique used to add decorative leaf patterns to various embroidery projects. You can use the leaf stitch to complement flowers in floral embroidery designs. It adds a realistic touch to the leaves and enhances the overall appearance of the floral pattern. It's also perfect for creating detailed botanical illustrations in embroidery. The leaf stitch can capture the texture and shape of different types of leaves. Add leaf motifs to home decor items such as pillowcases, table runners, or wall hangings. The leaf stitch can bring a touch of nature indoors. Now you can see how the leaf stitch looks with different number of strands. Now let's practice. Thread your needle with 3 strands. Bring your needle up at the top of the leaf on the central vein. Go slightly downwards and insert the needle back into the fabric. Bring the needle up again very close to the starting point of the first stitch, but slightly to the side. Insert the needle back into the same hole as the first stitch. Bring the needle up again very close to the starting point, but from another side, and then insert the needle back into the same hole as the previous stitch. Bring the needle up again very close to the previous point, but slightly to the side, and insert the needle back slightly downwards into the central vein. Do the same from another side. Continue making satin stitches from one side of the leaf to another, following the curve and shape of the leaf. The stitches should be parallel and closely packed without gaps. Once you have filled the entire leaf shape with leaf stitches, bring the needle back and knot the thread securely. Here are some tips for a perfect leaf stitch. First, guidelines. Using a central vein and the leaf outline as guidelines can help keep your stitches even and properly aligned. Now thread your needle with 4 strands, and we continue embroidering using the leaf stitch. Another tip is tension. Maintain even tension on the thread to avoid puckering or uneven texture. And the third secret, it's of course practice. Practice as much as possible to perfect your technique and stitch spacing. If you don't have a stand for a hoop, It's not a problem. Now you can see how to do this stitch without a stand. You can use the leaf stitch to embellish clothing and accessories. It can add a unique and personalized touch to garments and fashion items. This stitch is ideal for seasonal and themed embroidery projects. Leaf stitches can represent different seasons by using appropriate colors and shapes. Once you have filled the entire leaf shape with leaf stitches, bring the needle back and knot the thread securely. Now let's thread the needle with 6 strands. Continue making satin stitches from one side of the leaf to another, following the curve and shape of the leaf. The stitches should be parallel and closely packed without gaps. Well, when you decide how many strands to take for a leaf, you should look at the size of your leaf. Of course, for small tiny leaves we use 1, 2, maybe 3 strands. For bigger leaves we use 4, 5, 6 strands and so on. And for big, huge leaves we can use 8, 10, 12, as many strands as you want. It depends on you. Experiment with different leaf shapes and sizes to find what works best for your project. Thread your needle with 6 strands. Well, now let's try to embroider a cluster of leaves, or it can be a flower. So the leaf stitch can be used for leaves, individual leaves, for cluster of leaves, but it also can be used for trees, bushes, and also for flowers. The procedure is the same. We are making stitches from one side of the leaf to another. And these stitches should be closely packed without any gaps. Also, you can use various shades of green or other leaf colors to add depth and realism to your leaves. Well, when the leaf is filled, so it's time to make a secure knot and cut the thread. Leaf stitch can frame letters beautifully. Incorporate leaves into monograms and initials for a personalized and decorative effect. By incorporating the leaf stitch into your embroidery projects, you can create intricate and beautiful designs that highlight the natural beauty of leaves. This stitch is versatile and can be adapted to suit a wide range of embroidery applications. Well, our task is almost ready. So, see you at the next lesson.